We are wrapping up another season of the Real Housewives of Potomac. When you look back at the season that was, what is the lesson you are walking away from this season with?
Oh my gosh. Just give me the heavy hitters already. Wow. You know what? First of all, I'll tell you honestly, filming in a pandemic, I really thought that COVID was going to like poo-poo on our season. My, I guess, lesson looking back on the season is never underestimate these Potomac ladies. I mean,
hello, highest rated season yet.
What? Yes. I mean, that's a miracle. Honestly, it's impressive. It really is.
Spending all that time together has also, I think, made tensions that much more tense. You've had some moments with Wendy this season. After reunion, where are we at? Better or worse off than we were in season?
You know, I mean, I hate to like really give anything away, but I don't feel good about where we are, unfortunately. I wasn't expecting that. I was actually expecting to go into the reunion and come out with some resolution and to go in with, you know, people willing to hear each other out, maybe see things differently once you're able to like watch the season and talk it through. She came in not even attempting to listen. I felt like during the season, she was making assumptions about what happened. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, once she watched the show, she'll realize like, you know, it really wasn't what she was assuming. And then, so I was really surprised to come into the reunion and it was like the same. It was like more of the same.
Is there a path forward? Do you think that there could be something in the future? Does it feel like it's done?
You know, at this point, I will say the ball is in her court. I didn't go into the reunion with, you know, anger and being tense and being, you know, like rude and stuff like that. So so at this point, I'm kind of saying to myself, I know where I stand with her. I did not walk away feeling comfortable because I walked away feeling worse.
Yikes. We definitely are seeing a different side to her, which has obviously been a topic of conversation this season.
I feel like your personality is slightly different. I feel like the Wendy I met last year was not that loose.
Do you think she gets it that she came off differently this season?
Honestly, from what I can see of, you know, all of her media interviews, honestly, I don't think she's going to ever say, yes, you're right, I changed, or, you know, what people are saying about me is true. I think she's like tripling down on everything that like we've seen.
She has claimed that you are the person who first told her about the Eddie cheating rumors. True or false?
Well, it wasn't that I was like the first person to tell her. I saw it on the non-credible blog. Her saying that is not like, that's not a smoking gun. What I expressed at that time was, you know, I can't believe they're doing this. Like, why are they putting out stupid stuff like this? You know, not thinking that there was any truth to it. So
right. It was care and concern from the jump for you.
Yeah, just like, girl, I'm sorry they're attacking you like that, whatever. Like, you know, like, don't worry about it. So when we're in Williamsburg, and it's literally almost 3 months later, and she's like yelling, I felt like I was being accused of something.
What was said about Eddie?
Don't worry. If you want to know, your friend will tell you.
No, I want to know from you. I want to know what you're receiving as them talking about your husband.
You want a moment so bad, girl. Worry
moment. Shut up. Moment.
It's like she wanted to assume the worst in me. And that, I think, is what hurt me most about our friendship. And even with, you know, whatever Gizelle and Ashley were talking about, they weren't attacking her family, but she keeps going on this attacking my family, attacking my husband thing.
What you're not going to do, let's be very clear, is you're not going to play with my husband's name.
She's upset about somebody coming for her relationship and then to turn it on you and cut you so deep, so fast out of nowhere, I think is pretty jarring.
It was jarring and it was very telling. In that moment, you're upset, you're heated, whatever. Once you see, you know, things weren't really the way that you thought they were, okay, so why are you doubling and tripling down in your media interviews and continuing to put down my relationship? That's the part where I'm stuck. It's like one thing while we're filming, you're like doubling down, insulting people and their relationships when I've never said one bad thing about her husband, her relationship. I never talked about that rumor.
Between seasons 5 and 6, what was your friendship like with her? Did it seem fine up until this turn happened while cameras were up?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I would hope she would be one to tell you that I was probably someone that would check on her the most when it came to, you know, just dealing with social media and trying to stay strong. And for her to just take everything that I said and make it seem like I was coming from a bad place, it just said a lot to me. And I really feel like that's because she's playing the game of like, she's over strategizing, she's overthinking, she's playing this TV game. And you know, she changed her appearance. The appearance thing's fine, like that happens all the time. But
let's talk about that, because I feel like this conversation around her change in personality has been conflated with the change in appearance. Can you clear up? Those are two different conversations, essentially.
Well, they are. Candace and I were talking on the phone, and in our conversation, I said, Candace, I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is, but Wendy feels so different to me. Something is different. She's changed, like, but I can't put my finger on it. You know, I didn't have the words for it. I think the conversation got melded together because you're kind of wondering, does one have to do with the other?
I've seen more of your body parts in the past month than I have the entire time I've known you.
Yeah, the difference is clearly I had my boobs done.
I was kind of frustrated because I think Wendy got hung up on the body, you know, the change in the body talk, which was kind of disappointing to me because if one of my friends comes to me and says, hey, I noticed some changes, you know, you're acting differently, your personality is different, your behavior differently, I would be more concerned about that than being concerned about like what you're saying about the change in the way I'm dressing or my behavior. Like I would be more like, oh my gosh, like, you know, let's talk about it. Why am I making you feel like this? Like, I don't want you to feel that way.
That's something I hadn't thought about, that she didn't give you the space to have that conversation. Instead, she was defensive. We saw that on the boat, incredibly defensive, when Mia came back and misrepresented what you had said downstairs.
Right.
You're damn right I'm not the same person I was a year ago. And if she's the same person she was a year ago, then she needs to change. She needs to motherfucking evolve.
And I think that speaks a lot to just like our friendship and how she viewed it. It's like she was so quick to throw an insult out at me. I wasn't even talking bad about her. I feel like I should always be able to speak my mind with my friends and tell them like if I'm noticing something different, like that's what friendship is. You tell your friends like, hey, you know, something's a little different. Are you okay? Is it all good? I just want to make sure like, you know, you aren't, you know, trying to be, you know, change yourself because of social media, like whatever it might be. But for her to just be so defensive off of everything that we would say and to want to turn it into like, you know, we're looking for a moment, we're being dramatic, we're being mean girls, we're being bullies. Like I didn't get it. I was very disappointed.
They want to leave. Leave and go where?
I mean, even the whole, like when we left the house to go to a hotel and she says, oh, they're just looking for a moment.
Leaving in the middle of the night. I feel like they're trying to make a moment.
We didn't bother anyone. We didn't inconvenience their trip at all.
Twirl me straight to the ladies' room. This way, yeah. Oh, no.
I promise you, if that was Karen that didn't have a bathroom, she would have showed some compassion. She would have understood if Karen left the house to go stay in a hotel 35 miles away to be comfortable instead of saying that Karen was looking for a moment. So it's just like, let's be fair here. You know, I don't know. Like I said, I don't feel good about where we are. Like, and unfortunately the reunion didn't help.
Let's circle back to reunion. Nicki Minaj showed up to this thing. And this was actually a surprise to you guys. You guys did not know this was happening.
No, it was a huge surprise. And Bravo and production did a great job of like surprising us, you know, because I think going in, we all just like, you know, in our minds, like, they gotta make it happen. Like, you know, Nicki's gonna be there. Like, but they really kind of like took us off the scent. And the surprise, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was so, like, I literally was just like sitting on the couch, like, how did I get here? Like, you know, it was one thing to already be like on a Real Housewives show, but I was literally like, okay, now this is like the biggest pinched me. I think I actually turned to like Ashley or Candace, and I was like, I think it was Ashley. I was like, are we here? Like, I'm like pinching her.
Well, now
like,
I know who you were sitting next to at the reunion.
Oh, yeah.
Candace told me that Nicki, quote, read you all for filth and like really went in on somebody. And Candace said it is not her. So who did she really go in on?
I mean, okay, I think you're gonna have to watch. I'm not gonna be the one to spill. No, she definitely, it's funny, like she asked questions that like, you know, I think some of the viewers are gonna be like, thank you. Like, you know, they were funny.
Give me a tease of one topic maybe she got into.
She gets into the whole Robyn and Gizelle thing.
Candace told me that Nicki was pulling out stuff that like you guys haven't even thought about in years. What surprised you the most?
You know, like I knew that Nicki watched the show because she was following me on Instagram in season 1. I was like floored by that. So I was aware that she's not new to Potomac, you know. She was just so familiar, you know. Literally felt like she's worked on the show. Although she's so familiar, she's watched it for years. It didn't feel like she had a favorite. It didn't feel like she was biased. And I appreciated that because, you know, nowadays it's so easy to get swayed, you know, one side or the other. She says stuff where I'm like, well, thank you. Like, coming from me, I'm a bad guy, but coming from Nicki Minaj, it's okay. Okay. You know what I mean? It's like,
okay. Is the person she really went in on your couch or the other couch?
See, I feel like it could be.
Do you feel like it was an equal opportunity interrogation?
One person. Okay, I think some people have more uncomfortable conversations than others.
Okay.
But I can't say, honestly, I wouldn't pick one. Like, I literally feel like it came.
Well, we'll also see, I hear she was out there for a minute, so I guess we'll have to see what actually makes it to TV, too.
She was out there for a very long time, like hours. But she also is very, like, slow in her.
She's thoughtful.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. She wasn't like quick hitting with the questions. She was like really slow with it, very intentional, very deliberate, and sometimes would get into like conversations. You know, she had to do her little makeup checks and hair checks.
It sounds like she understood the assignment. She came with her questions, followed the conversation where it went. After reunion, do you see this whole group coming back? Do you expect changes? I mean, obviously you and Wendy seem to have unfinished business. What's your read on where this group goes from here?
Well, I mean, the season is really successful. I'm sure the goal would be to try to get everyone back to a good place. I'm not like a woe is me type person. So, you know, I'm just gonna deal with people where they are, not try to force anything.
Candace told me she left reunion more confused than ever about Mia. What's your vibe with Mia?
It's not even the stuff on the show with me, because I feel like early on I figured out that about Mia, like, okay, she's just gonna be all over the place.
Yeah, her social media has been the wild, wild west, and she has blamed it on a social media manager. You don't buy that, okay?
No, I don't buy that at all, at all. I wish I could have like gotten to her before she put that out, because the fans are smarter than that.
This is the first time you're doing this. You're gonna learn. You're gonna make mistakes. It is what it is.
Right. Yeah. So I think her social media made things worse for her, honestly, than anything she said or did on the show. Because on the show, you saw her, you know, even with what she came back and said, well, Robyn said this, and then she said, oh, well, I'm sorry if that's how I, you know.
Well,
so
the whole text message thing too early on was a whole its own.
Right.
So I said, hi, Mia. I'm quite taken aback by your rude response. Was something done to you that we are not aware of?
Yeah.
Is this how you treat people who are trying to get to know you? What am I missing? She says, at Gizelle.
Since my message was directed to you,
Ooh.
I apologize if you felt like my response was rude. I was simply being direct.
And what is the update on Embellished? Have we emailed Macy's back, Robyn?
So I, communicated with the retailers. The problem is retail is, they take a big chunk of your money, your share your profit. So that's kind of like where I'm stuck. So I have not, I'm still just e-commerce only. I am considering, retail, but I just don't know if it's going to make sense for me because my hats aren't that expensive, you know? So it's like, if you're taking a big chunk of my money, I'm like.
Will you add a candle to the embellished line? And would it be 1 wick, 2 wick, 3 wick, 4?
You know what? No, I will absolutely not add a candle. I think the market is pretty saturated. Honestly, I feel like on a show, when you have a platform that's very visual, such as a TV show, then your product should be visual. You know, if it was me, I would have done something different, but you know, to each their own.